Chapter 187. The earth-shattering roar almost collapsed the roof of the manor. It was conceivable that Su Yuxuan was on the verge of exploding. After being yelled at, Su Yiyan finally realized the seriousness of the matter. She turned her head stiffly and saw Hua Qinhuan, who had also just woken up. Su Yiyan immediately gasped and hurriedly explained, "Brother, don't misunderstand. Nothing happened between us." Unfortunately, Su Yuxuan was so angry that he lost his mind. He said without thinking, "Then why are you sleeping in the same room?" Because it rained heavily and thundered last night. I was afraid to be alone, so I asked him to come over and accompany me. Moreover, he slept on the floor while I slept on the bed. Nothing happened between us." As soon as Su Yiyan said that, everyone present was stunned, especially Hua Qinhuan. However, he quickly realized that Su Yiyan was defending him. The corners of his lips curled up unconsciously. "Why is Big Brother here? Don't call me that. Who's your brother?" Su Yuxuan was even angrier when he heard Hua Qinhuan call him that. He glared fiercely at Hua Qinhuan, stepped forward, grabbed his sister's hand, and dragged her out. "Brother, what are you doing?" Su Yiyan was unprepared. She staggered a few steps forward and almost fell. Hua Qinhuan's eyes darkened slightly. He gave Gu Xiaoyang and the others a look. They understood and quickly stepped forward to separate the two of them. "What else can I do? I'll take you out of here." As soon as Su Yuxuan finished speaking, he was held up by two people and forcibly separated from his sister. "What are you doing? Let go of me." "Brother." Su Yiyan was also a little surprised by their actions. Before she could do anything, her hand was suddenly held by the person beside her. The person placed her hand in the palm of his hand and carefully stroked and rubbed it. "You're hurting her." There was a hint of anger in Chen Xu's tone. Only then did Su Yiyan notice that her wrist had turned red from the tugging just now. Her skin was fair to begin with, so the redness was a little shocking. Upon seeing this, Su Yuxuan also realized that he had been impulsive just now. He looked regretful, not only because he had accidentally hurt his sister, but also because his impulsiveness had caused him to lose the initiative in front of Hua Qinhuan. Hua Qinhuan rubbed Su Yiyan's wrist for a while before finally dispersing the red marks on her wrist. Looking at how focused he was, those who didn't know would think that he was not holding a hand, but some unknown rare treasure. Su Yiyan's ears turned red. As soon as the other party loosened his grip, she quickly pulled her hand back. "My brother didn't do it on purpose. Tell them to let him go." In fact, Su Yiyan didn't need to say anything. Gu Xiaoyang and the others didn't dare to hold the future brother-in-law of their young master for too long. They had already loosened their grip a long time ago. The reason why they still maintained their original position was that Su Yuxuan was completely stunned by the two people's behavior of abusing single people, as if there was no one else around. As soon as he came back to his senses, he broke free from their restraint. He snorted coldly and turned to leave. Upon seeing this, Su Yiyan hurriedly said, "I should go back. I'll come to see you next time if I have the chance." Hua Qinhuan thought that according to his future brother-in-law's reaction, the next time would not come so easily. With this thought, Hua Qinhuan suddenly leaned over to Su Yiyan and kissed her on the cheek before she could react. Su Yiyan blinked in surprise and blankly. Touching the place where she was kissed, her first reaction was. Chapter 188. Su Yuxuan was angry, but he couldn't just leave his sister in the wolf's den. After walking for a while, he stopped and prepared to go back and fight with Hua Qinhuan and the guys around him. Fortunately, before he could take action, Su Yiyan followed him. Su Yuxuan was stunned for a moment, and his expression became better. "They didn't stop you? Why would they stop me?" "Brother, nothing happened between me and him last night." "Since nothing happened, why didn't you return last night?" Su Yiyan choked and said with a guilty conscience, "Because we stayed on this island for too long last night and forgot the time. When we remembered, it was already very late. It's not safe to go out to sea late at night." Although she said that, Su Yuxuan still saw the loophole in her words at a glance. He coldly snorted. "Then who brought you to this island?" "Him." "And who brought you to this island to play and forget the time?" "It's also him." Su Yuxuan only asked these two questions, and directly closed the coffin. Forget the time? I think he did it on purpose. He deliberately brought you here, deliberately left you on the island so late, and deliberately went to your room. Although her brother was right, Su Yiyan still tried her best to salvage the situation. Brother, there was really thunder and rain last night. It was very loud, and I was afraid to be alone, so I asked him to come and accompany me. And you should have seen it just now. He slept on the floor, and I slept on the bed. The first two things are fine, but it can't be that the thunder and lightning, the storm and the storm were all arranged by him, right? This time, it was Su Yuxuan's turn to choke. Just as his sister said, no matter how powerful Hua Chenhuan was, he didn't have the ability to call the wind and summon the rain, nor the ability to control lightning. So all of this was just a coincidence? Even the heavens were on his side? Su Yuxuan's face darkened just as this thought popped up in his head. How infuriating. Su Yiyan saw her brother's face change several times, becoming darker and darker. She knew something was wrong and quickly changed the topic. Brother, why are you here? Shouldn't you be in the office at this time? The company is not as important as you. Su Yuxuan's face darkened as she snorted. You didn't come home last night, and your phone couldn't be reached. Mom and Dad were so worried that they almost called the police. Su Yiyan looked embarrassed. Didn't anyone tell you that I'm not going back? It would have been better if Su Yiyan hadn't mentioned this. Now that she mentioned it, Su Yuxuan's face darkened even more. Of course there is. It's because he came to our house and told us that you wouldn't be coming back tonight, and would be staying at his young master's place that Mom and Dad were even more nervous. You're not even married yet, and you're already staying at his house. If this gets out, who knows what people will say about you? When they couldn't get through to Su Yiyan's phone, they were still worried that something might have happened to her. Now that they knew she was fine, they were relieved, but at the same time, they had a new worry. Su Yiyan had already been subjected to a lot of criticism because of the incident between the Su family and the family Hua. If people found out about today's incident, who knew what kind of infuriating things they would say? Su Yiyan looked embarrassed. She smiled and said, "This place is so secluded. No one would know about it, right? Moreover, we're engaged. It's normal for us to live together and try to get married." Chapter 189. Su Yiyan's expression stiffened, and she said awkwardly, "I was just giving an example." Su Yuxuan breathed a sigh of relief, but he still felt a little uncomfortable in his heart. He complained in a low voice, "You also know that this place is remote. How dare you foolishly follow him to such a remote place? Aren't you afraid that he will eat you up?" Su Yiyan said in her heart, "Didn't I fall asleep and wake up here? How could I have known that this place was so remote?" However, she couldn't say this out loud. If she really said it, she had no doubt that her elder brother would thoroughly beat Hua Chenhuan into a scheming boy and rush back to fight with him. "I'm fine, aren't I? How dare he? Let's see if Dad and I will break his legs." Su Yiyan. "You really don't need to do that." Su Yuxuan seemed to have realized this after shouting. His face darkened, and he became more and more depressed. "Anyway, that's what happened. After that guy went to our house to report, Dad and Mom didn't sleep the whole night. I didn't sleep either. I asked them to send me here at dawn." What Su Yuxuan didn't say was that when he received the news last night, his first reaction was to go out to sea to look for her, but he was rejected by Gu Xiaoyang and the others for the same reason. With a belly full of anger, he waited until dawn and immediately urged Gu Xiaoyang and the others to bring him over. Along the way, he stabbed the bastard who abducted his baby sister countless times in his heart. "It's my fault. I promise I won't make such a serious mistake again." Su Yuxuan snorted coldly. "Even if you want to, I'm afraid you won't be able to do it again." Su Yiyan understood in her heart that when she went back this time, she was afraid that she would be forced to be watched by her parents until she got married. The two of them took the boat back to the opposite shore. Su Yiyan's mobile phone finally had a signal, so she called home immediately. Her mother answered the phone. Surprisingly, she did not reprimand Su Yiyan for not coming home last night. She only said, "Don't do this next time." Then she let it go. Compared to Su Yuxuan's recent ruckus, this place was terrifyingly calm. Su Yiyan once suspected that this was the calm before the storm. However, what Su Yiyan didn't know was that before she called back, Su Yuxuan had already reported everything that she had seen and heard on the island. Cheng Xiuqin and the others already knew that nothing out of the ordinary had happened between the two of them, which was why they were so calm. Otherwise, Su Yuxuan would not be the only one with murderous intent. When Su Yiyan returned home, Cheng Xiuqin and the others had just gone out to pick up her uncle. There was no one at home, which made her greatly relieved. However, since her uncle was here, it was time to nourish him and her aunt. She wanted them to work hard and try to make a baby. Cough cough, moreover, as the saying went. If you eat from others, you have to be soft-hearted. She cooked a good meal to make the elders happy. They couldn't blame her for yesterday's incident, right? Su Yiyan went into the kitchen with a little thought. Just as she connected to the internet, she saw a few notifications. Normally, she wouldn't look at this kind of entertainment news. Just as she was about to open the news, she saw a photo at the top. It was a publicity photo of a girl group, and a familiar figure was in the center of the publicity photo. Her smile was gentle and bright. Those who didn't know would think that she was very popular now and had a promising future. Chapter 190. Xia Junxing had only mentioned it yesterday when he was reporting to her about the company's work. He said that when Jinping had dug her own grave by scamming others on the internet to gain popularity, she did not expect to meet a tough opponent and fail on the spot, causing a negative impact. She was then persuaded to leave the show by the program team. It had only been a day since she was invited back. Obviously, she had used some unknown connections. Ning Chirue could no longer be her help, and she probably had not had time to hook up with her other spare tires. After thinking about it, it seemed that only Hua Xiaofeng could help her return to the stage at this time. Yes, last night, the female lead sneaked into the family Hua in disguise to visit the male lead who was still in bed. The two of them reconciled after talking. Early this morning, the male lead contacted a senior member of the program team and sent the female lead back. Su Yiyan smiled coldly. She is indeed the child of the world with her own protagonist aura. Not to mention that the family Hua is strictly guarded, and Hua Qihan's birthday banquet was so big before. Most people should already know what she looks like. No matter how much she disguises herself, how can she change her face? It's so easy to let her in. It's like a game. The world's consciousness has always given preferential treatment to the protagonists. What the host needs to do is to break this preferential treatment. This could be seen from the fact that those outstanding big shots would either lose their intelligence or inexplicably rapidly weaken, or even die when they met the two protagonists. Does the host want to replace her? Why should I replace her? She can stay if she wants. There are so many talented and good-looking people up there. If she has some ability, then so be it. If she doesn't have the ability and still insists on staying, she will only bring disgrace to herself. There was only one way to conquer others, and that was to work hard to make yourself better than anyone else. Opportunism was never a long-term solution. Even if you got some benefits for a while, there would be a day when you would suffer a backlash. Su Yiyan's sudden broadcast without warning could be said to be a pleasant surprise for those who were surfing the internet. Look at what I saw. Ha ha ha, while no one is around, I'm hugging the host and doing a 100-meter sprint. Upstairs, put her down. Where is there no one? I'm watching the streamers live stream 24/7. If anyone wants to hug, it should be me. A group of people were arguing on the screen, fighting to take Su Yiyan away. In the end, it was the father of the number one on the leaderboard who stepped in. He gave her a few luxurious gifts and even replied in bold font on the screen. Mine. The noise on the screen stopped abruptly, and then the discussion became even more lively. This is a familiar scene. I knew it. The number one on the leaderboard in the previous livestream must have been hacked. That's right. The daddy who ranked first in the last livestream had a sudden change in style. Now that I think about it, I still can't accept it. Just as a bunch of similar comments were sent out, everyone saw two words floating across the top of the screen. Love you, the crowd. F*CK, Did your account get hacked again? Wasn't he fine just now? Why did he change again? Is he suffering from a split personality? Boss, blink if you're kidnapped. This is the internet. How do you expect her to blink at you? Be good, baby. Don't be naughty. Return the phone to your mother. Su Yiyen was a little touched when she saw the words, "Love you." However, after seeing these funny comments, this touch was replaced by schadenfreude. She secretly wondered how a certain someone who had become a mother would feel at this moment. Chapter 191. A certain someone who had just become a mother didn't feel anything. No one could make him take off the vest that he had put on with all his might. After a while, Su Yiyen was still protective. She coughed softly and said, "There are a little more dishes to cook today, so I entered the live broadcast room in advance. Thank you to the little cutie who has been squatting in the live broadcast room to support me. Next, let's start with the custom-made private medicinal cuisine for the lucky viewer who drew the last live broadcast, showu liver slices. The main herbs used are showu huangjing." Before Su Yiyen finished speaking, the screen was filled with complaints. Host, the Research Institute's announcement is talking about you, right? When will these medicinal herbs be officially sold? We've already prepared the money, but we can't even find a place to buy them. How can this be justified? Yes, we're still in a hurry to save lives. Please give us a specific time. This group of people had probably gone to bother the administrator of the Research Institute before, but they couldn't get anything out of him, so they could only come to Su Yiyen to try their luck. Su Yiyen frowned slightly and pondered for a moment before saying, "Due to the fact that these things are relatively rare, and the Research Institute doesn't have many finished products, a large part of them may be kept as seeds for priority cultivation. It will take some time for them to be sold publicly. Considering that some people's illnesses really can't be delayed, how about this? For some seriously ill patients whose lives are at stake, you can try to send a medical record to the Research Institute. After the Research Institute verifies that there are indeed medicinal herbs in the institute that can treat the disease, they will provide them with priority. As for how to verify and what standards to use for verification, the Research Institute had a ruler to measure. It wasn't something that Su Yiyen should worry about. However, I'll make it clear in advance that the effects of medicinal herbs on diseases vary from person to person. It may not be suitable for everyone. Please be mentally prepared for this." As soon as Su Yiyen said this, the audience in the live broadcast room boiled over again. Due to the support of the Research Institute, the number of viewers in her live broadcast room had already exceeded 1 million and was rapidly approaching 2 million. Her favorability was also constantly increasing. At this rate, she estimated that she would be able to smoothly advance to level 3 by the end of this live broadcast. Woof. I'm going to send the medical record to the Research Institute now. My grandfather's illness can't be delayed any longer. Sure enough, the key lies with the host. After all, the host is the main owner of the medicinal herbs. Speaking of which, my period is coming soon. Can I submit a medical record if I have severe menstrual cramps? I also want to ask, is there any medicine for toothache? Can you give me a medical record as well? The two above listen carefully. This is a critically ill patient whose life is at stake. Why are you adding to the chaos? I don't like what you're saying. Haven't you heard that toothache isn't an illness? Does it hurt like hell? In just a moment, the audience had already started arguing about what a life-threatening patient was. Su Yiyen did not stop them. He concentrated on washing the ingredients that he needed. He first added the fleece flower root and sealwort into the pot and boiled them for about 10 minutes. Then he added the cut carrots, pig liver, and abalone mushrooms. Tuber fleece flower has the effect of tonifying liver and kidney, replenishing blood essence, black beard and hair, and strengthening muscles and bones. Sealwort also has a certain effect on the deficiency of spleen and stomach, and early white beard and hair. When the audience heard this, their hearts skipped a beat. Black beard and hair. Was it what they thought it was? Paired with pig liver that replenishes blood, it has the effect of nourishing yin and blood, as well as preventing hair loss. Chapter 192. F***ck. Can this stuff really cure hair loss? Baldies, please save us. My long wait in this live broadcast room was not in vain. It's finally our turn. I beg the goddess of luck to bless me, and let me draw this pot of soup. Did the person above forget that this is the medicinal cuisine exclusive to the lucky audience from the last live broadcast? Sob, 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 I'm jealous. So, can I take it that the lucky audience from the last live broadcast was bald? Blind student, you've discovered something. What's wrong with being bald? Does being bald have no human rights? If not for the sake of living, who would stay up late and go bald at such a young age? It's too difficult to be bald. QEQ. She watched as a group of bitter baldies clamored on the bullet screen, asking Su Yiyen if she could show them some pity. Even if she couldn't popularize the medicinal herbs as soon as possible, she could at least draw a few more lucky audience members to give them some hope. Su Yiyen frowned slightly. She couldn't help but have some thoughts in her mind. She did have some of these medicinal herbs in her hands. However, as the number of viewers in her live broadcast room increased, her favorability rapidly increased. Not only did the area of her farm expand, but the soil had also been upgraded to a certain extent. As a result, the medicinal herbs she produced were much more effective than the ones she used before, not to mention the ones cultivated by the Research Institute. She was now reducing the amount of these ingredients she added into the medicinal cuisine. In order to be in line with the Research Institute, it was impossible to sell them separately. However, if she only sold the finished medicinal cuisine, Su Yiyen's mind was spinning 1,000 times, but her hands didn't stop moving. After making the fleece root lung slice, she stewed 2 soups as quickly as possible: lotus seed cerealia pork loin soup and angelica ginger lamb soup. Su Yiyen didn't introduce the 2 soups much when she made them. This made the audience, who had long been used to Su Yiyen explaining while making, feel very awkward. They spontaneously asked about the effects of the 2 soups, as well as the effects of some unknown medicinal herbs that they had seen used in them. Su Yiyen saw that she couldn't escape, so she blushed and said, "This is lotus seed cerealia pork loin soup. Lotus seed has appeared before, and I've also introduced it before. Cerealia has the effect of anti-aging and nourishing the nests. When paired with walnuts that nourish the kidneys, the 3 ingredients together have the effect of improving the balance of estrogen and enhancing, sexual desire." As soon as the introduction came out, the bullet screen was dead silent for a few seconds. Then it exploded like a blowout. F***CK, isn't that the same effect as sexy streamer, driving online? I'm just watching a gourmet livestream. If not, I'll add a live stream of medical science and Chinese herbal medicine. Why did I suddenly turn a corner and start driving? Host, have you been infected by the host's father? Ha 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 ha, look at how nervous the streamer is. It looks like this is your first time driving. Come on, let's have fun. Driver, open the door. This is not the bus to the kindergarten. I want to get off. The doors are welded shut. No one is allowed to get out of the car. Let us run to the finish line together. Sob, 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 the few people in front, be careful. If this goes too far, our live stream room will be blocked. Shrug hand. JPG. Su Yiyen had already expected these guys to react this way, so she planned to be vague in the beginning. She didn't expect that she still couldn't escape. Chapter 193. Unfortunately, these words had no effect on the audience, who were already laughing like crazy. Yes, yes, yes. It's not that exaggerated. We understand, we understand. See through, but don't say it out loud. It's not suitable to discuss this topic in public. Skip, skip. Look at this car. It's big and yellow, and it drives very fast. Not bad, not bad. Su Yiyen was speechless. It seemed like they didn't listen at all. Su Yiyen sighed helplessly when she realized that she couldn't get through to them. She didn't continue to argue and started talking about the second soup. Things like moral integrity were really something that one would get used to over time. When she started talking about the first soup, Su Yiyen was at a loss. Now that she was talking about the second soup, she felt like she had nothing left to lose. Angelica ginger mutton soup. Angelica can nourish the blood and regulate the essence. Mutton can nourish the kidneys. Paired with ginger to dispel the cold, it has a great effect on kidney yang deficiency. Kidney yang deficiency? I think I know something. I think so too. Me too. A lot of meaningful comments floated through the bullet screen. Finally, an audience member pointed it out. Host, are you planning to make a baby with your husband? Su Yiyen's face turned completely red when she saw the bullet screen. This batch of audience members was really bad. Every one of them had such a wide range of thoughts. Hua Chenhuan, who was watching the live broadcast, saw this and her face darkened. Even Zui Yanbai, who was accompanying her today, was implicated. Fortunately, he quickly calmed down and said in a low voice, as far as I know, Miss Su's uncle should be arriving at the Su family's house today. Hua Chenhuan raised her eyebrows and motioned for him to continue. Miss Su's uncle and aunt have been married for nearly 20 years, but they haven't been able to conceive a child. I saw that Miss Su's previous live broadcasts were full of dishes that nourished women's bodies and increased the chances of pregnancy. Judging from all these two soups are probably prepared for her uncle and aunt. After listening to his explanation, Hua Chenhuan's expression finally improved a little. Zui Yanbai also breathed a sigh of relief. He was glad that he had been paying attention to the movements of the Su family and saved his worthless life at the critical moment. Coincidentally, Su Yiyen could not help coughing lightly and explained awkwardly, "It's not me, it's the elders in my family." So it's an elder. I'm a little disappointed. The streamer had said before that she was already married. Was she really not going to try and make a baby? I can't be the host's husband, but I can be the host's child. Beast, what are you trying to do to the streamer's child? Why are you so agitated? I just want to say that I can be the host's-in-law. What are you thinking? Nose-picking. Nose-picking. Is the person who asked the streamer to make a baby stupid? If the streamer is pregnant, it means that she has to take care of the fetus. Can she still broadcast so frequently while taking care of the fetus? Be clear about the main points. Don't lose sight of the big picture for the small. F***CK, I didn't think of that. Su Yiyen. Hey, that's enough. You guys were just making babies before, and now you're starting to nurture a fetus? Do you have to be so imaginative? As the person involved, I can't keep up. Fortunately, the last viewer's words woke everyone up. The army of people who wanted to have babies was quickly defeated by the shocking idea of the streamer might not broadcast live if she's pregnant. They all closed their mouths and, as Su Yiyen wished, began to complain about Su Yiyen's elders. Chapter 194. Su Yiyen looked at the screen full of viewers who wanted to be her relatives. The corners of her lips curled up slightly, but she did not say anything. This was the longest live broadcast Su Yiyen had ever done. It took about 3 hours before Su Yiyen finally finished cooking all the dishes. She packed the dishes that she had gotten from Ning Chirue and Hua Chenhuan, and sent them out. She almost collapsed. The thoughts in her heart were magnified countless times at this moment. She could not go on like this. She had to shoulder this burden before she died from overwork. Before that, she had to find an ally first. The first person that Su Yiyen targeted was her biological uncle, who had come from the same place. As the saying goes, a nephew resembles his uncle. From Su Yuxuan, one could tell what kind of person Su Yiyen's uncle was. It was not that the two looked alike, but that their temperaments were similar. They were the kind of people who looked gentle and refined on the surface, but were actually evil. Moreover, they were very protective of their family members. No matter how awe-inspiring they were outside, at home, they were gentle and warm men who put their family members first. Like Qin Xueru, Cheng Juanhao, who had been married for many years without children, had long regarded his sister's children as his own. From the moment he saw Cheng Xiuqin and the others, he either asked his wife or asked why the 2 children did not come with them. Cheng Xiuqin and the others interrupted and told him frankly at first, but thinking that he was tired from the journey, they only replied vaguely, "They have something to do." Cheng Juanhao was suspicious, but he did not ask much. He followed the others back to the Su family's house and smelled a special fragrance. "What's this smell? It smells so good." Cheng Xiuqin and the others' eyes lit up slightly. They smiled faintly and said, "It should be Yin Yin cooking." Cooking? During this time, Chung Juanhao learned from his wife that his precious niece had recently learned to cook, and the food she cooked tasted good. His wife, who originally had no appetite and was rapidly losing weight, gained a few kilograms of weight. Her complexion was also much better than before. However, Chung Juanhao couldn't help but feel a little dazed when he smelled it personally. Coincidentally, Su Yiyan had finished cleaning up the mess and came out of the kitchen. "Uncle?" Su Yiyan quickly ran over and gave him a hug. "You must be tired from the journey. I made some dishes to welcome Uncle. If there's nothing else, let's eat first." Su Yuxuan was carrying 2 plates of food in front of Su Yiyan. Her eyes lit up when she saw them. Only the heavens knew how torturous it was for him to stay outside for the past few hours without being able to eat. "Since you're all back, let's eat." As soon as Chung Xiuqin and the others heard that it was time to eat, they immediately left Chung Juanhao, the main character of the welcome party, and gathered around the table like little chicks waiting to be fed. Chung Juanhao, who was a little unaccustomed to their style, was pulled over by his brother-in-law in the end. However, he soon understood why they were acting so abnormally. One after another, fragrant dishes came out of the kitchen like flowing water. Even Chung Juanhao couldn't help but swallow his saliva, let alone Chung Xiuqin and the others who had already eaten other delicacies. Their eyes were green with envy. After the dishes, there was soup. There were too many things to cook today. In order to save time, Su Yiyan directly made a large stew pot that could stew several small pots at once. She stewed a pot of soup for everyone in the family. Chapter 195. This one is for Auntie, and this one is for Uncle. Su Yiyan brought out the soup and distributed it to everyone. The others were used to it, and they just stared at the soup in front of them. It was Chung Juanhao's first time seeing such a scene. He looked at the soup in front of him, and then at his wife's soup in confusion. "Why is the soup different?" "This is a tonic soup with medicinal herbs. Men and women have different tonics, so the soup is naturally different." Chung Juanhao did not know much about this, so he asked suspiciously, "There's such a thing?" "Of course. Why would I lie to you, Uncle?" Chung Juanhao nodded and did not say anything else. On the other hand, Old Master Chung glanced at their soup. He thought about how his granddaughter had been nourishing Qin Shueru's body all this time, so he could more or less guess the effect of these soups. He lowered his head slightly and hid the smile on his face. Chung Xiuqin and the others could more or less guess this, so they smiled and tried to smooth things over. What does it matter if it's the same or not? The key is whether it tastes good or not. Speaking of which, it's all thanks to you today. Although Yin Yin usually cooks, it's not as sumptuous as today. We'll talk about other things later. Let's eat first. With such a big table of dishes, it won't taste good when it gets cold. After Chung Xiuqin said that, they no longer paid attention to the 2 bowls of soup in front of Chung Juanhao and his wife. They focused on eating. Chung Juanhao did not eat much on the way here, so he was indeed a little hungry now. Coincidentally, the dish in front of him was his favorite fish, so he picked up a mouthful and put it in his mouth without thinking. In the next second, an indescribable excitement rushed from his tongue to his head, causing his entire face to turn red. This. Qin Shueru saw him like this and quickly poured a glass of cold water for him. Chung Juanhao drank half the glass of cold water before he finally calmed down. He slurred and said, "This fish. Why is this fish so spicy?" Qin Shueru had been married to him for so many years, but this was the first time she saw him in such a sorry state. She could not help but laugh. "There's chili in it." "Chili? Those red ones are much spicier than ginger." Su Yiyan pointed at the red chili peppers on the plate. "My brother and dad both like spicy food, so I made more spicy dishes. If Uncle doesn't like the taste, there's also a plate of sweet and sour fish. It's lighter." When Chung Juanhao heard what she said, he didn't feel too conflicted. He first tried the sweet and sour fish, and the taste was indeed a little bland. Although it was delicious, he didn't like sweet things. After a moment of hesitation, he reached for the spicy steamed Christian carp. This time, at least he was mentally prepared. While it was spicy, He also felt that this fish tasted better than any fish he had eaten before. The first mouthful was a little stimulating, but the second mouthful started to get used to it. The third mouthful was enough, and by the fourth mouthful he couldn't stop anymore. Su Yiyan raised his head while holding his bowl, and saw his uncle frequently reaching for the spicy dishes on the table. His face was red from eating, but he still couldn't bear to put down his chopsticks. Great, another spicy person who was captivated by chili peppers. Fortunately, she would make some tea for them to drink every day to reduce internal heat. Otherwise, they would have been tortured to death by constipation and other side effects. Chapter 196. Cheng Jianhao touched his bulging belly. For the first time in his life, he felt what it felt like to be too full. At the same time, he finally understood why his wife didn't want to stay at home after a few days. If he could eat such delicious food every day, he also wanted to stay here for a long time. Once people were full, it was not easy to think about those bad things. Su Yiyan suddenly made so many dishes today. On one hand, it was to welcome Cheng Jianhao. On the other hand, she wanted to use this opportunity to please Cheng Xiuqin and others so that they wouldn't take last night's incident to heart. Cheng Xiuqin and others obviously knew this. For the sake of the table full of food, they didn't say anything to Su Yiyan. After the meal, they went to the yard to stroll around to digest. Cheng Jianhao wanted to follow them, but Su Yiyan stopped him first. "Uncle, I have something to discuss with you." Cheng Jianhao was stunned. Looking at his niece's bright smile, he was a little puzzled. "What is it?" "I want to open a restaurant." "Open a restaurant? What kind of restaurant?" "A medicinal cuisine restaurant." Cheng Jianhao was confused. "What's a medicinal cuisine?" "It's a little troublesome to explain." "What do you think of the food just now?" "It's delicious. Yin Yan's dishes are 100 times better than those in high-end restaurants outside. Then if I take them out to sell?" Cheng Jianhao grasped the key point. "You want to open a restaurant?" "Yes. A medicinal cuisine restaurant could be considered a kind of restaurant." Cheng Jianhao thought for a moment. "Then why are you looking for me?" "I heard that uncle has a shop in the city that has been abandoned and unused." "You want to buy that shop?" "Yes." Cheng Jianhao said without thinking. "Okay. That shop was left behind by your grandmother. It has been abandoned all these years. If you want it, you can use it. I originally planned to give it to you as a dowry when you get married." Su Yiyan was slightly stunned. She hurriedly said, "No, no, no. I can't take such a shop for free. How about this? After I open the shop, uncle, you can be counted as a shareholder. When the shop is profitable, I'll give you a bonus." Cheng Jianhao frowned and was a little unhappy. "We're family. Why are you being so polite? Although we're family, even blood brothers debts clearly. Uncle, if you say so, I'll be embarrassed to ask you for help." Cheng Jianhao heard her unspoken words and shook his head helplessly. "Tell me, what else do you want me to help you with? I definitely can't open the shop alone. I'm short of manpower. After all, there's a layer of separation between us. I don't really trust the people outside. I was just wondering if Uncle could transfer a few trustworthy people from the Cheng family to help out. You can rest assured about their salary. We will definitely not treat them unfairly." Cheng Jianhao was almost amused by her. "You haven't even opened the shop yet, but you're already acting like a boss?" "Uncle." Okay. I won't talk about it. It's not good to make mistakes when opening a restaurant. I'll go back after a while and get you some people. Is that okay? I know Uncle loves me the most. Then I'll put all these into the bonus and give it to you together. Didn't I say you don't have to be so polite?" "No, I must." In the end, Cheng Jianhao couldn't win against Su Yiyan. He reluctantly agreed to Su Yiyan's proposal to get him to become a shareholder. Chapter 197. "Grandpa, why are you here?" Grandpa Cheng snorted with a straight face. "I've been here the whole time. You were just too engrossed in your conversation and didn't notice me." Su Yiyan smiled guiltily. "You heard everything just now." "Yes. What do you think of my idea?" Can a medicinal cuisine restaurant be opened? Of course, it can be opened. The seeds of the Research Institute have only been planted not long ago. The only products that have matured are the ones you sent over. You're the only one who owns these things before they're fully circulated. The people at the Research Institute know the effects of these things very well. If you're willing to take them out to open a medicinal cuisine restaurant, they'll be more than happy to support your restaurant. Su Yan's eyes lit up slightly. If the Research Institute could really support her shop as her grandpa said, then her small shop would be a small shop with a strong backer. If anything happened in the future, she would have something to rely on. However, opening a restaurant isn't like sitting in an office. I'm afraid it'll be very tiring. Su Yan had already thought about this. She chuckled and said, "It's fine. I've already asked my uncle for help. I'll find more people to help when the time comes. At the very least, I'll make a limited sale. I'll only make 100 or 200 servings a day. Isn't that what those high-end restaurants do? I know what I'm doing. I won't tire myself out." Naive. Grandpa Ching knew his granddaughter very well. He was tough when he was tough, but he was also really soft when he was soft-hearted. She had already opened a restaurant. When people came to ask for help, she might really tire herself out. Su Yan smiled and didn't comment. Grandpa Ching knew that she didn't take his words to heart. He continued to persuade her. It's a blessing and a curse that these things are in your hands. You may face a lot of trouble opening this restaurant. Some of it you may not be able to solve. Su Yan's smile faded slightly. She nodded and said, "Yes, I know. Even so, you still want to open it?" "Yes. Since these things are in my hands, I have the responsibility to make the best use of them. Firstly, I can help some people by opening this shop. Secondly, I want to have a business that I've worked hard to build." "A business that you worked hard for?" Old Master Cheng's face darkened. "Didn't your parents leave you some assets?" "Yes, not long ago. Brother gave me an entertainment company to try out, but I don't think it's enough." "Not enough." Old Master Cheng's expression was slightly better, but he was still a little serious. "Do you think one company is too little? Then, grandfather, you misunderstood me." Su Yan knew what he was thinking. He laughed and said, "I just want to do something that I want to do and can do. I want to experience it and make myself better and better. Only then can I be worthy of him." At first, Old Master Shen was pleased with Su Yan's progress, but when he heard the last sentence, his face darkened. Su Yan's small face blushed slightly. Under the old man's intense gaze, she said embarrassedly, It's. Seeing her like this, the old man immediately understood. "Family host kid?" "Yes." Chapter 198. Su Yan looked at her grandfather, who rolled up his sleeves and looked like he was ready to hit someone at any time, as if his Achilles heel had been poked. She was stunned for a moment, then quickly went forward and hugged his arm, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. No one said anything to me. I think Chen Huan is too good, so." Grandpa Cheng's expression became slightly better, but he still curled his lips and said sourly, "What's so good about him?" Su Yan could tell that he was not convinced. She held back her laughter and said, "He's good in all aspects. He's good-looking, gentle to me, loyal and protective." Grandpa Cheng could not stand it anymore. "How do you know he's loyal? How long have you known each other? Be careful not to be deceived." "I believe him. He won't lie to me." A man who had silently protected her for a lifetime, sacrificed everything to avenge her after her death, and even left everything behind to die generously after his revenge. If he was not loyal, then there was no one else in the world who was loyal. Find a time to ask him out. I want to see how good this man who can make you praise him so much is." Su Yan smiled. "Okay." Grandpa Cheng calmed down after a while, then suddenly asked, "Why did you choose your uncle's shop? If I remember correctly, your parents have many shops under their name. If you ask, they should be very happy to give it to you." "My parents do have many shops under their name, but those shops are not as good as my uncle's. Just because of this." Su Yan was slightly startled, then jokingly said, "Grandpa, do you think my medicinal cuisine can make money?" If a unique and useful thing can't make money, what else can? Since it can make money, it's better to keep the goodies within the family. It's something that can make money anyway. It's better to give it to your own family than to give it to outsiders, isn't it? Grandpa Cheng looked at the child who could be said to have been brought up by him, and suddenly realized that the little girl who liked to run around behind him had really grown up. Although the Cheng family was a scholarly family, they had a wide network of connections and had many good friends. Thus, they had offended many people as well. In recent years, some people who didn't like them saw that he was getting old and Cheng Juanhao didn't have a successor. On the surface, they didn't dare to do anything, but behind their backs, they instigated some of the side branches of the family to have other thoughts, stirring up a foul atmosphere within the family. Although the Cheng family had connections, sometimes, it wasn't enough to solve a problem just by relying on connections. When it came to money, a single copper coin could really drive a hero to his death. Old Master Cheng thought that he and Cheng Juanhao had kept all these troubles a secret, and Cheng Xiuqin and the others didn't know about it either. He didn't expect that a little girl like Su Yiyan would see through it. Cheng Juanhao did not know the value of the Chinese herbs in Su Yiyan's hands. He thought that Su Yiyan just wanted to play with her on a whim. He would not lose much money anyway. As for the dividends that Su Yiyan mentioned, he was very pleased with her intentions, but he didn't take it to heart. Grandpa Cheng was different. He knew very well that if Su Yiyan could really open the shop and keep it going, then the dividends would be beyond Cheng Juanhao's imagination. Yin Yan, you're a good child. Your uncle and aunt didn't dote on you in vain all these years. Su Yiyan smiled. Uncle and aunt dote on me, but don't you? I know who's good to me in this world. Chapter 199. De Lu was an old programmer in Qinyuan Technology's technology department. He was in his early 30s and had been in the technology department for 5 to 6 years. To an ordinary man, this age was considered the prime of his life. De Lu asked himself if he felt the same way. However, the Mediterranean Sea above his head, which was as shiny as a braised egg, had made him age by more than 10 years. He did not look like a young, handsome uncle whose daughter had just entered kindergarten. Instead, he looked like an old, middle-aged wretched man. Because of this, De Lu was often despised by his wife. He was even glad that he had married early. Otherwise, with his current appearance, he probably would not even be able to find a wife. 2 days ago, when it was close to getting off work, the company suddenly issued an urgent task. They were to go to the future lady boss's livestream to block some malicious ghostwriters. They were also to find out their IP addresses, chat records with their employers, and a series of chain information. De Lu touched his little Mediterranean Sea egg. He was actually a little resistant to working overtime, but when he thought of the high overtime pay, he was a little tempted. His precious little princess had just started kindergarten. There were many places where she would need money in the future. He wanted to earn as much as he could now. After all, he had a wife and a daughter now. So what if he was bald? With this thought in mind, De Lu went all out. Not only did he block a lot of accounts, but he also responded to his boss's call. He used the identification of his wife, his 7 aunts, and various relatives to register an account on the future lady boss's livestream. He followed the future lady boss's livestream and became one of her fans. Perhaps the heavens took pity on him for going bald at such a young age. When the lady boss said that she would pick a lucky viewer from the livestream and tailor a medicinal cuisine for him, De Lu was watching the livestream with his wife's account. In the end, he did not pick his own account, but his wife's account was picked. De Lu was stunned. He could not believe that an African mafioso like him, who had never won a lottery in his 30-odd years of life, would have a day when his luck would change. Ahem, his wife's account was also his account. He had won the lottery. There was nothing wrong with that. After the joy, De Lu was a little conflicted and embarrassed. He sent a photo of his bald head and began to wait anxiously. During the second live stream, he followed the live stream so that he could see what kind of medicinal cuisine the other party had prepared for him. De Lu, it's time. Aren't you going to take some nutrient fluids and find a meeting room to sleep? I still have a new project in the afternoon, and I'll probably have to work overtime again tonight. The colleague sitting next to Delu saw that it was time to get off work, but Delu was still sitting there motionless, so he kindly reminded him. Delu forced a smile. You go first. I have something to take care of. I'll be there soon. Then I'll leave first. After that person left, the other colleagues in the office also left one after another. In the end, only Delu was left. Right at this moment, a clear greeting came from outside. Excuse me, are you Mr. Liu? Your takeout is here. Delu's eyes lit up, and he rushed out as fast as he could. It was a small bowl of sliced steamed mushroom liver. There wasn't much of it, so Delu cherished it very much. After drinking a few mouthfuls of soup, it was gone. When he was done, he even smacked his lips, as if he hadn't had enough. After savoring the aftertaste, he remembered to touch the top of his head. It was still smooth to the touch. He was a little disappointed, but also felt that it was within his expectations. Chapter 200. After adjusting his state of mind, Delu threw the matter to the back of his mind. He did not expect the change to happen the next day. What's wrong? Delu looked up and met his wife's confused and surprised gaze. Is your head? My head. Delu was stunned. He remembered the bowl of soup he drank the day before, and thought that he had grown hair overnight. He excitedly reached out to touch his head, but he could not feel anything. Delu was speechless. Delu's wife blinked. She also felt that it was unlikely. She coughed awkwardly and said, Maybe it's just my imagination. I feel like the spot on your head has darkened a little. Delu's emotions were like a roller coaster. He did not dwell on the matter, and went to the company dispiritedly. He thought that was the end of the matter. He did not expect that in the next few days, the bald spot on his head would change little by little. On the morning of the 5th day, a patch of hard hair grew out of his barren head. F***ck, my hair is really growing. It's really growing. Delu looked at his changed head in the mirror. His eyes were hot and he almost rushed out to tell the world that he finally had hair. However, he did not need to tell the world. Anyone with eyes could see the change. Delu did not say it out loud, but deep down he felt inferior. Usually, he would only dare to go to work with a wig. But today he did not wear a wig. He openly revealed his bald head. No, it wasn't bald. There was actually a layer of black stubble on top of his head. The famous balding boss in the design department had hair. The news spread like wildfire. It quickly spread throughout the technical department, and even gradually spread to the entire company. What were programmers most afraid of these days? Baldness. Especially baldness that resembled the Mediterranean Sea. All four sides remained, except for the bald spot in the middle. It looked like a smooth tea egg. It was even more embarrassing than being completely bald. It was fine that everyone was bald. They had agreed to bear the burden of baldness together, but he secretly grew hair himself. Unavoidably, Delu became the main focus of all the programmers in the technical department. Not long after he started work, he received countless inquiries. Ever since Big Lou joined the company, this was the first time he had enjoyed such treatment, so he didn't hide anything. He told her everything in detail about how he was selected in the future Lady Boss's livestream, how he drank a bowl of medicinal cuisine personally made by the future Lady Boss, and how his hair grew out a few days later. Everyone looked at each other when they heard this. Then someone suddenly said, Previously, Director, you seem to have said that he could help us ask for Lady Boss's medicinal cuisine as company benefits? As soon as this was said, the entire technical department was in an uproar. Therefore, that afternoon, when Yu Zian went to Zuyenbai to hand over his work to Qin Yuan, he was met with countless programmers who were eagerly eyeing him. President Yu, you said before that you could help us get the Lady Boss to treat our illness through the back door as an employee benefit. Is that still valid? Yu Zian froze for a moment, feeling a little awkward. At that time, he had just said it casually. Considering that his boss's identity hadn't been exposed yet, and the Lady Boss still didn't know that Onlooker was a business under his young master's name, this matter wouldn't be so easy to achieve. Chapter 201. At this time, Su Yiyen still didn't know that someone was in deep trouble because of her, and was waiting for her to rescue him. Since she had already made up her mind to open a physical store, Su Yiyen didn't delay for too long. That day, she coaxed and pestered Chung Juanhao to sign a restaurant share agreement with her. She contacted a renovation team, and started to officially renovate the long-abandoned store the next day. Su Yiyen's father and the others were shocked when they learned that Su Yiyen wanted to open her own store. However, they didn't object. They felt that this was a good opportunity for Su Yiyen to practice. They were a little worried that she would be tired after opening the store, but they supported her decision with both hands and feet. They even offered to support her with funds. Su Yiyen didn't accept. She only asked for some trustworthy people from the two of them. When the renovation team was done, they would come over to help her. This wasn't difficult for the two of them, so they agreed on the spot. In Su Yiyen's era, although some cultural heritages were declining, and most of the animals and plants had gone through a certain period of replacement, most of them were extinct. However, in some aspects, it was still much more advanced than the era in Wen Jingping's previous life. The most obvious difference was technology and infrastructure. In the 21st century, a store that would take a few months to renovate could be completed in a week with advanced equipment and special materials. Moreover, most of the materials used were non-polluting and non-toxic. Basically, it didn't take long for ventilation to move in. The more troublesome part was the design of the store's renovation. Fortunately, there were many design drawings in the system for reference. Su Yiyen chose the best one among them, and left the rest to the renovation team. On the 5th day of the renovation team's official construction, Su Yiyen woke up early in the morning, and made some porridge and steamed buns for breakfast. Just as he sat down, he saw his uncle and aunt lovingly holding each other's hands, as they walked down the stairs with rosy faces. Chung Xiuqin and the others also noticed them. They looked at each other and joked. "Why did you come down so late today? Did you stay up too late last night?" "Mom, aren't you talking nonsense? Just by looking at Auntie's refreshed look, you should know how hard Uncle worked last night." Mr. Su glanced at his eldest son calmly and said without batting an eyelid, "If you're so envious of your uncle, hurry up and find yourself one." Su Yuxuan choked. He rubbed his nose and said helplessly, "It's not like you can find it just because you want to." Chung Xiuqin rolled his eyes at his eldest son, his face full of disappointment. "You may not be able to find it if you want to, but if you don't look for it, you definitely won't be able to find it." Su Yuxuan. That might not be the case. When Su Yuxuan saw that breakfast time was about to devolve into a wedding banquet, he looked at Su Yiyen pleadingly, hoping that she could save him. Su Yiyen suppressed her laughter and glanced at him. In the end, she pitied him and pushed the red bean porridge that she had prepared for Qin Shueru. "It's okay, Auntie. Don't listen to my brother's nonsense. You and Uncle are husband and wife. Husband and wife have to do what husband and wife should do. We all understand." It would have been better if Su Yiyen didn't say that. Once she said that, Qin Shueru's ears turned red. She wanted to bury her head in the bowl and not come out. Logically speaking, at her age, she didn't have much passion for certain things. Chapter 202. The medicinal cuisine that Su Yiyen had prepared for her had the effect of nourishing the nest, and it was able to nourish her body's ability in this aspect. In addition, during this period of time, Chung Xiuqin would take her out for a walk whenever he was free. They would go shopping, buy things, and gather with other friends. With more things to do, her life was more fulfilling. Once her life was fulfilled, she would not be bothered by those troublesome things anymore, and her mentality would be much more relaxed. Both physically and mentally, Qin Shueru's complexion was much better than when she first arrived. Chung Juanhao saw this and was happy in his heart. He smiled and did not refute their teasing. He saw the changes in Qin Shueru, and his body seemed to have changed in the past 2 days. To sum it up, the two of them had found some small memories of their youth, and they had accidentally gone a little overboard. It was a little embarrassing to say it, but they were husband and wife. It was natural for them to do this kind of thing, so there was nothing awkward about it. After the family chatted and laughed and had breakfast, Su Yiyen prepared to go to the medicinal cuisine restaurant. She did not expect to receive a call from Xia Junsheng before she stepped out of the house. What happened? A female artist in the company had an accident. She's now in the hospital. Hospital? Injured? Is it serious? Su Yiyan frowned and could not help but feel worried. If it was an ordinary injury and hospitalization, Xia Junsheng would not call her like this. It's not serious, but she's participating in a talent show. I'm afraid she has to withdraw after being hospitalized. Talent show? The one that Wen Jingping is participating in? Su Yiyan seemed to have sensed something. Does this have anything to do with Wen Jingping? Yes. Xia Junsheng was silent for a moment, then told her the whole story. The injured female artist was called Yu Yushi. She was one of the 7 people sent by Dongqing to participate in the show. She was considered to be quite capable among the 7 people, and her ranking had always been in the upper tier. Last week, they had just gone through a big elimination of 60 to 20. Yu Yushi and 2 other female artists in the company had smoothly entered the top 20. Originally, a female artist from a company that had a good relationship with her could also enter the top 20. However, because Wen Jingping, who had originally been ordered to withdraw, used some tricks and was forced back, the female artist was forcefully squeezed out of her slot and regretfully withdrew from the competition. Yu Yushi was so angry that she ran straight to Wen Jingping to find trouble. She tore off the fig leaf in front of everyone and scolded her for being shameless. She should have scram as far away as possible after withdrawing from the competition. Why did she have to come back? Moreover, with her looks and ability, she was not worthy of being in the top 20. Yu Yushi only used her mouth to scold others the entire time, and did not make a move. Wen Jingping's eyes turned red after being scolded by her. She still looked like a white lotus who had been bullied. A girl who had a good relationship with her and had a bad temper could not stand by and pushed Yu Yushi. Yu Yushi was already angry. After being pushed, she exploded on the spot and started fighting with the girl. This development was out of everyone's expectations. The others were a little confused at first, but later, they were worried that they would be punished for causing a big scene, so they quickly went forward to pull the 2 of them apart. During the pushing and shoving, the girl who stood up for Wen Jingping accidentally knocked Yu Yushi off the stage. Chapter 203. Su Yiyan's eyes darkened when she heard Xia Junsheng's words. She asked in a low voice, "What's the name of the girl who stood up for Wen Jingping?" "I think her name is Simingyu." Simingyu. Su Yiyan's eyes flickered. "Is she also in the top 20? Yes." Xia Junsheng was not stupid. He quickly reacted when he heard Su Yiyan's words. "You're suspecting." Su Yiyan chuckled and did not answer directly. She already felt that the name Yu Yushi was somewhat familiar. Now that she heard Simingyu's name and knew that she was also in the top 20, Su Yiyan was even more certain. She had never encountered this in her previous life, but it happened to be mentioned in the original novel provided by the system. Simingyu was the first friend that Wen Jingping met when she participated in the variety show. She was straightforward and loyal. To put it nicely, she was simple, but to put it bluntly, she was straightforward and a little stupid. Wen Jingping saw through her character at a glance. When she took the initiative to come over and express her goodwill, she was very gentle and warm. After a while, the 2 of them became very good friends. In the original novel, Yu Yushi did find trouble with Wen Jingping. However, at that time, Wen Jingping did not deliberately try to take advantage of the new streamer. Instead, she was slapped in the face by the new streamer, and was even persuaded to leave the show by the production team. There was also no incident where Wen Jingping relied on her connections to replace the person who should have been shortlisted. The way Yu Yushi went to find trouble with Wen Jingping was considered gentler. Yu Yushi's personality was similar to Simingyu's. She had a bad temper and looked down on those who were not worthy of the position, and had no ability, but insisted on staying because of connections. She found a private time to ask Wen Jingping out alone, and said a few words to her. In summary, she hoped that she would retreat in the face of difficulties, and take the initiative to withdraw from the show and give the position to those who were better than her. In the original novel, Wen Jingping was the female lead. Everything was described from her point of view. Naturally, It emphasized how hard she worked and how motivated she was. For someone who came to find trouble with her, it was written as harshly as possible. At the same time, it made people feel sorry for her and annoyed with the character of Yu Yushir. Perhaps it was because of the filter of an enemy's enemy being a friend. Su Yiyen felt that there was nothing wrong with Yu Yushir's words. It was just that she used the wrong method and pushed herself into a disadvantageous position. After being scolded by Yu Yushir, Wen Jingping felt very wronged and ran to find Simingyu with red eyes. Seeing her like this, Simingyu naturally couldn't help but ask a few questions. Wen Jingping was unwilling to say at first, but later on, she told her about Yu Yushir looking for trouble with her intermittently. She even deliberately skipped over some important points and only extracted a few of Yu Yushir's more aggressive sentences. Originally, the meaning of a sentence could completely change if the tone was different, let alone take it out of context like Wen Jingping. Simingyu was filled with anger when she heard it. Naturally, she wanted to stand up for her best friend. She rushed over to quarrel with Yu Yushir. In the end, they quarreled and fought. Yu Yushir was injured and was forced to withdraw from the show. Simingyu was also persuaded to withdraw by the production team because she hurt someone. Su Yiyen felt that this scene was quite out of place when she roughly watched it. Now that she knew that both of them were outstanding seeded contestants in the top 20, she could not help but have other thoughts. Chapter 204. Su Yiyen pondered for a moment and asked again, "Did the two of them have an argument on stage?" "Yes, but it wasn't during the recording. It was after the recording was completed." Su Yiyen took a deep breath and muttered, "Was there a video camera still on at the scene? Or a surveillance camera?" "There should be. I've already asked someone to get it. After all, their company had invested in this show, so it shouldn't be a problem to get the surveillance video. Moreover, something had happened to their artist, so the production team really should give them an explanation. Remember to make a copy for me when you get it. It's best if it's from Wen Jingping's perspective." After hearing Su Yiyen's words, Xia Junxing actually had a trace of doubt in his heart. "Okay, I'll get them to do it as soon as possible." "Okay." After Su Yiyen responded, she didn't hear anything for a long time. She frowned slightly and took the initiative to ask, "Is there anything else?" "Yu Yushir is hospitalized. Do you want to come and see her?" Su Yiyen's first reaction when she heard Xia Junxing's words was, "Who is this artist? Why does the big boss have to go and see her in person when she's hospitalized? Who's this person? I only found out today that her sister is Yu Jingyu, her biological sister." "Yu Jingyu?" Su Yiyen felt that the name was a little familiar. After thinking for a while, she finally remembered. "The general manager of the jewelry group, Yu Group? She's the second daughter of the Yu family?" "Yes." Su Yiyen really didn't know whether to laugh or cry. One Ning Chirui was not enough. And now there was the second daughter of the Yu Group. Did her company burn incense or offend the god of fortune in her previous life? Our entertainment company is really full of crouching tigers and hidden dragons. Xia Junxing was also a little helpless. If it was an ordinary artist, he could just go and take a look with his status. But if it involved the Yu Group, his status was a little weak. "Then you see, I'll go. I can also take a look at this legendary Iron Lady." The Yu family, a jewelry family, only had 2 daughters in this generation. The eldest daughter, Yu Jingyu, had followed her parents into the company for an internship early on. In a few years, she had quickly gained a foothold in the company, and even in the jewelry industry. Women had a natural advantage and sensitivity when it came to jewelry. In addition, Miss Yu's personality was not inferior to those men, so she was known as the Iron Lady of the business world. Compared to her thunderous reputation, the second Miss of the Yu family was much more low-key. There was almost no news about her to the outside world. Su Yiyen also didn't expect that she would actually hide in her own company. Could it be that the rich young masters and young ladies all entered the entertainment circle to play these days? However, Yu Yushir's identity reminded her of something else. In the original novel, Wen Jingping was worried that Yu Yushir and the management company behind her would find trouble with her after this incident. She even told Hua Xiaofeng about it. When Hua Xiaofeng found out, he gave her an idea and asked her to bring a bunch of reporters to the hospital to visit Yu Yushi. In front of so many cameras, Wen Jingping humbled herself and apologized to Yu Yushi. Moreover, she apologized on behalf of Sima Yu, so Yu Yushi couldn't be too harsh. After all, people tended to side with the weak. If Yu Yushi really didn't let it go, her original victim status would probably be stripped. To put it bluntly, it was moral blackmail. If someone apologized to you, you would be magnanimous if you forgave them. If you didn't forgive them, you would be calculative. Chapter 205. However, in the eyes of the readers, she was a cannon fodder villain and a bad person. When she was punished, the readers would think that the female lead did a good job and was gentle and kind. Yu Yushi suffered such a huge loss and was disgusted by Wen Jingping, so she naturally refused to let it go. After that, she caused trouble for Wen Jingping a few times, but was blocked by Hua Xiaofeng. Sima Yu was not so lucky. Unlike Wen Jingping, she did not have Hua Xiaofeng's protection. The consequences of being attacked by the Yu family's revenge were obvious. After Sima Yu left the show, Wen Jingping even ran to thank her and felt guilty that she had implicated her. At the same time, she mentioned that she had to compromise and apologize to Yu Yushi because of her hitting someone. Sima Yu was so touched that she completely forgot that she had gotten into trouble because of her. After that, Sima Yu disappeared from the industry, but Wen Jingping climbed higher and higher. She only heard about Sima Yu from others when she was successful and found out that she was inexplicably banned by the company after this incident. When her contract expired, she left the entertainment industry and returned to her hometown. It was said that she was forced to marry a mommy's boy by her family and led a miserable life. Wen Jingping sighed and threw this matter to the back of her mind. Su Yiyan did not believe that Wen Jingping could not guess that Sima Yu had ended up like this because of her. She pretended to sigh and did not even think of meeting her to ask if she needed help. It was obvious that she was cold-hearted. At that time, Sima Yu would often see the people she had helped standing under the spotlight and being pursued and envied by countless people on television. She who had stood up for her ended up in a bad state because of helping her. Did she ever regret her enthusiasm? On the way to the hospital, Su Yiyan simply sorted out the relationship between the three of them. In conclusion, Sima Yu was not a bad person, but she was too stupid. She was the kind of person who would count money after being sold. When Su Yiyan arrived at the hospital, Xia Junxing was already there with a mini projector in his hand. "You got the surveillance footage so quickly?" When the incident happened, there was a camera at the side that was still on, and it captured some things. Su Yiyan's eyes lit up and she was instantly interested. "Did you manage to capture something related to Wen Jingping?" "Just a little bit. Take a look for yourself." Su Yiyan took the projector and asked, "Did the production team give this to you so easily?" "They weren't willing to give it to us at first, but President Ho put pressure on them." Chen Huan. Su Yiyan was stunned. "He knows about this too?" Cough. "It should be one of my subordinates keeping an eye on the situation over there." Su Yiyan raised her eyebrows. She recalled the time when Hua Chenhuan had asked someone to remove Wen Jingping. That guy probably hadn't given up until now, and was still thinking of helping her kill this woman. Why is he pressuring them? He's threatening and enticing them. He's giving them more investment, and if they don't give it, he's going to mess with them. Su Yiyan. Sure, this is very Hua Chenhuan. However, the production team won't lose anything by bringing this out. Yu Yushi is injured and hospitalized, so she must have withdrawn from the competition. The production team has to give her an explanation. Sima Yu definitely can't stay. She's someone who's going to withdraw from the competition. If this video is really released and hyped up, it might even bring a wave of free traffic to their show. Chapter 206. Xia Junxing did not answer directly. Instead, he gestured for Su Yiyan to watch the video first. At the beginning of the video, a girl rushed toward another girl. The two of them quarreled for a while and started pushing each other. Their movements were not very big. It was obvious that the two of them had quarreled until their faces were red. and they were a little anxious. After that, a few girls on the side surrounded them one after another, trying to pull them apart. At this moment, one of the girls suddenly fell backward from the side of the stage. Her whole body fell off the stage. Immediately after, the girl who had rushed towards her also staggered and fell, almost falling down as well. Fortunately, the baldy managed to stop himself in the end. He struggled back and forth for a while before he managed to stabilize himself. From her actions, it doesn't look like she's pushing someone. Instead, it looks like she was pushed out and bumped into Yu Yushir. Xia Junxing nodded. There's still a short video after that. It was taken by another camera. Su Yiyan continued to watch. Indeed, from another angle, she could see that when the group of girls ran over to pull the two of them, when Jingping happened to be standing behind Simingyu. It's a pity that the camera can only capture so much from this angle. There were many people at that time, so she was basically blocked. Even if this video is released, as long as she says that she went over to pull people, we can't do anything to her. Why are we wasting our time arguing with her? The important thing is whether the person involved is willing to argue with her. The person involved? Su Yiyan did not explain further. She put away the projector and asked, "Where's Yu Yushir? Which ward is she in?" "Upstairs." Xia Junxing leaned closer to Su Yiyan and reminded her in a low voice. "Yu Yushir's manager just called me and said that Yu Yushir's family is here. There are many people guarding upstairs. Isn't that just right? Let's go up and meet this general manager Yu." Xia Junxing saw that Su Yiyan was really not nervous at all. So his heart calmed down and he followed her upstairs. Just as Xia Junxing had said, Yu Jingyu had already arrived. There were a large number of bodyguards in black guarding the staircase on the 3rd and 4th floors, preventing anyone from approaching. Su Yiyan did not panic when he was stopped. He said frankly, "I'm Su Yiyan, the current general manager of Dongqing City. My company's artist, Yu Yushir, is injured and hospitalized. I'm here to visit her in person." The bodyguards in black looked at each other. One of them turned back into the ward on the 3rd floor and ran out after a short while. "Our eldest miss invites Miss Su over." "Thank you." Under the guidance of the bodyguard, Su Yiyan led Xia Junxing into the innermost private ward and finally met the famous Miss Yu. Yu Jingyu was wearing a dark blue professional skirt. She looked capable and serious. She left a deep impression on people at first glance. She was unforgettable. Perhaps it was because of her sister's injury. Yu Jingyu's face didn't look good at the moment. When she heard the sound of the door opening, she glanced over coldly, almost freezing Su Yiyan and the others. Su Yiyan was slightly stunned. He looked her up and down, then turned his gaze to the girl on the hospital bed with one leg in a cast. They were biological sisters, but Yu Yushir looked completely different from her sister in terms of appearance and feeling. Chapter 207. Other than the two sisters, there was a girl who was slightly younger than Yu Yushir standing on the other side of the bed. Her eyes were red like a little white rabbit. Before Su Yiyan came, she had seen the artiste information that the company had compiled for her. She knew that this person should be the unlucky person who had coincidentally been replaced by Wen Jingping. Her name was Yin Luoshan. From the information, this girl was the youngest in this show. She looked more immature than the others, and she was the type who was easily bullied. Su Yiyan's gaze swept past the three of them before finally landing on Yu Jingyu. "Hello, Director Yu. I'm the current person in charge of East City. My surname is Su." Yu Jingyu looked at Su Yiyan's outstretched hand and did not refuse. She raised her hand and shook it. "Director Su, I've heard a lot about you. I'm very sorry that Yushir was injured at work this time." Yu Jingyu did not seem to have any intention of beating around the bush with Su Yiyan. She went straight to the point. "Since it's a pity, has Director Su thought of a way to make up for it?" "That depends on Director Yu. How is Director Yu going to deal with this matter?" "Of course it's to teach the person who hurt her a lesson. Does Director Su have other thoughts?" "Of course not. Director Yu's thoughts are my thoughts. But before that, I have to ask Yushir a few questions." "What questions?" Yu Yushir looked at Su Yiyan curiously. She had heard that her manager's company had just changed bosses not long ago. And it was a woman. When Yu Yushur heard that, she thought that this new boss must be a powerful woman about the same age as her sister. She did not expect to be so young. I heard from the people present that you were the one who went on stage first to cause trouble for others? Yu Yushur was slightly stunned. She looked at her sister and boss's gazes and felt inexplicably guilty. She gritted her teeth and said, I was the one who went up first to scold them. As soon as Yu Yushur finished speaking, before Su Yiyan and the others could say anything, Yun Luoshan interrupted. No, it's because of me. It's because of me that Sister Yushur ran up. It's all my fault. I hurt her. If you want to blame someone, blame me. Don't blame Sister Yushur. Yun Luoshan really regretted it. If only she had pulled Yu Yushur back then, none of this would have happened. Yu Yushur was stunned when she saw her tearful face. She quickly said, What does this have to do with you? It's the production team that's going too far. You're clearly ranked in front of them. Why do you have to leave just because they want you to stay? It's fine if the person left behind is similar to you. That one Jingping isn't as good looking as you. And her singing isn't as good as yours either. She doesn't work very hard usually, and she spends all her energy on those crooked ways. What right does such a person have to snatch your spot? This has nothing to do with you. I'm the one who can't take it lying down. Yun Luoshan was frightened by her furious appearance. After a while, she reminded her in a trembling voice, Sister Yushur, don't be agitated. Be careful of your injuries. That fierce doctor just now said that if you keep moving around and break your leg, he won't treat you anymore. Yu Yushur. Su Yiyan almost laughed out loud when he saw this scene. How did these two girls get together? One was like a violent lioness protecting her cub, daring to roar at anyone. Chapter 208. After Su Yiyan laughed, she returned to the topic at hand and coughed lightly to draw their attention back. I don't mean to blame you. I just think that you're too impulsive. Yu Jingyu, who had been standing at the side and watching coldly, actually agreed with Su Yiyan. She's right. You're too impulsive. If you don't think about the consequences before you do something, you'll only be at a disadvantage. Then are we just going to watch them treat the rules as child's play and bully others? Talking about rules with adults? You're indeed immature. Yu Yushur was unconvinced when she heard her sister's words. Your original intention was good, but you used the wrong method. Wen Jingping's parachute was arranged by the production team. If you fall out with her in front of so many people, you're also falling out with the production team. If you weren't injured, or if you didn't have the identity of the second daughter of the Yu family, your entertainment career might have been ruined by now. Yu Yushur's face darkened. The reason why she hid her identity and sneaked into someone else's entertainment company to start from scratch was because she didn't want others to think that everything she had and everything she could obtain was because she was the second daughter of the Yu family. Without this identity, she was nothing. She was nothing. Su Yiyan's words could be said to have hit her Achilles' heel, but she couldn't refute it. Yu Yushur felt her face burning when she thought about how she had left home confidently back then. It had only been a few months, but she had already been hospitalized and even alarmed her sister. How embarrassing. If you're really angry, you can settle the score with them later. Settle the score later. If they don't take the rules seriously, then let them suffer the consequences of the rules. Didn't Wen Jingping shamelessly stay to become famous? You can make her more famous. Yu Yushur was stunned. You mean? There are two sides to everything. There's always a price to pay for crossing the bottom line. Yu Jingyu narrowed her eyes and interrupted. If my sister had your brain, I wouldn't have to worry so much. Yu Yushur. I'm still here. Am I her biological sister? The onlooker sees more clearly than the player involved. If I really encounter such a situation, I might not be much calmer than her. After Su Yiyan finished speaking, he turned to look at Yu Yushur and said with a faint smile, Now that things have gotten to this point, what kind of explanation do you want? Me. Yes. Yu Yushur never thought that Su Yiyan would ask so bluntly. When she entered the hospital, she was filled with anger. She was angry at the integrity team, angry at the person who caused her to be hospitalized, and even angrier at Wen Jingping. She was still angry, but she was much calmer than before. I want Si Mingyu and Wen Jingping to withdraw from this show. I want the production team to apologize for their actions. You have quite a lot of demands. It's easy for Si Mingyu to knock you down and cause you to be hospitalized and withdraw from the show, but Wen Jingping, she shouldn't have stayed in the first place. That's right. She shouldn't have stayed in the first place, but the production team let her stay. Moreover, strictly speaking, you can't blame her for your hospitalization. Yu Yusher's face was as black as the bottom of a pot. She knew that Su Yiyan was telling the truth, but she was still very indignant. It was also at this moment that she suddenly realized that everything she had done before was actually useless. Yu Jingyu's expression darkened. Can't we just ask the production team to remove her? How can a small show have so many problems? Chapter 209. Yu Yusher's expression froze. Su Yiyan had hit the nail on the head again, and she was a little angry from embarrassment. Perhaps you can try to cooperate with someone. Oh. Su Yiyan took out the projector and showed the surveillance video that he had prepared beforehand to the people in the ward. They replayed the scene of Yu Yusher being pushed off the stage, and felt a little uncomfortable. Yu Jingyu's face was dark. Although she was angry, she was the first one to notice something strange. This girl. Yu Jingyu pointed at Si Mingyu, who was staggering and almost fell down with Yu Yusher. Sister, she was the one who knocked me off the stage. There are so many people. How can you be sure that it was her? Yu Yusher pouted unhappily. Who else could it be? She was arguing with me before I fell. And after I fell, she was the only one who came out. How can there be such a coincidence? It's quite a coincidence. She was standing behind you, and there was another girl standing behind her. Yu Yusher choked. Only then did she realize that when she fell, the person standing behind Si Mingyu was Wen Jingping? Su Yiyan secretly sighed at Yu Jingyu's shrewdness. She had only watched such a small video once, but she had actually discovered the small clue inside. Whether it's a coincidence or not, won't we know if we call her over and ask? Call who? Su Yiyan glanced at her meaningfully and chuckled. If you were to choose between the two of them, who would you rather call over? Yu Yusher wanted to say that she did not want to see either of them, but after thinking about it, she felt that this answer was too impulsive. After pondering for a moment, she reluctantly told the truth. Si Mingyu. How rare. You were hospitalized because of her. Now that you're given a choice, you still chose her. I didn't have much enmity with her originally. If it wasn't for Wen Jingping. Su Yiyan smiled. This girl was impulsive, but she was not stupid. Yu Jingyu heard the conversation between the two, but she quickly understood Su Yiyan's intention. You want to use us? It's not considered using her. Yu Yusher is an artist of our company to begin with. We have the right to seek justice for her. At the same time, it just so happens that we have someone we both hate. Su Yiyan winked at Yu Jingyu playfully. Since she is the victim in this matter, it's reasonable for her to think of your side. Otherwise, we can deal with it here, but the effect may not be as good as imagined. Yu Jingyu took a deep look at Su Yiyan and said nothing. Yu Yusher looked at the two of them in confusion and said speechlessly, What kind of riddle are you guys playing? Before Su Yiyan could speak, Yu Jingyu had already reached out and took the projector from her hand. I will take care of this matter. As for the follow-up matters, the company will also help guide them. Sorry to trouble you. Of course. If there's nothing else, we'll go back first. You sure rest well. We'll visit you next time. After Su Yiyan finished speaking, she took one last look at Yu Yusher and left with Xia Junsheng. Yu Jingyu looked at the projector in her hand, and then at the direction in which the two of them left. She was deep in thought. Yu Yusher saw that Yu Jingyu was standing there without saying anything, so she asked tentatively, Sister? Your boss is much smarter than you. Chapter 210. As soon as Su Yiyan left the hospital, Xia Junsheng could not help but ask, Do you really believe that they can do it well? If you use someone, don't doubt them. It's indeed impossible for Yu Yushir to do it alone. However, her sister is a powerful person. A character like Wen Jingping has nowhere to hide in front of her. Just wait, maybe they'll do better than we expected. With her around, it's impossible for Yu Yushir to be at a disadvantage. Su Yiyan closed her eyes after saying that. Now that she thought about it, the timing of Wen Jingping's visit to the hospital in the original novel was also coincidental. According to today's situation, she must have met Yu Yushir before Yu Jingyu arrived. Otherwise, she would not have brought such a large group of people to the ward to cause a ruckus without being stopped. It was interesting when she thought about it this way. Yu Jingyu's sister did not even have time to rush to the hospital when she received the news, but she had already taken the lead to apologize. No matter how one looked at it, she seemed to have expected it and was prepared. Unfortunately, she had already found the evidence first. Because she was at the filming location, the news reached Yu Jingyu's ears immediately. Now that they were already in the hospital, it would be fine if Wen Jingping did not cause trouble, but now that she did, she would probably be sending herself to death. In fact, just as Su Yiyan had expected, Wen Jingping did make the same choice as in the original novel. After Yu Yushir was hospitalized, she immediately contacted Hua Xiaofeng and explained the whole story to him. She also told him that this was all because of her. She was worried that Yu Yushir's management company and the production team would blame Simingyu for this. If that happened, she would have implicated her. Simingyu was now at the center of the storm and could not visit Yu Yushir in the hospital, so she wanted to visit Yu Yushir on Simingyu's behalf and ask for Yu Yushir's forgiveness. However, at the same time, she was worried that Yu Yushir would make things difficult for her if she apologized. When Hua Xiaofeng heard her words, he was touched by her kindness and worried that she would be at a disadvantage. At first, he suggested that she go with the bodyguards, but Wen Jingping rejected him. The reason was that he was there to apologize, not to fight. It was not suitable to bring bodyguards with him. Hua Xiaofeng thought about it and agreed. He then thought of finding a group of reporters to accompany her. He's here? When Yu Jingyu received the bodyguard's report, it was already an hour after Su Yiyan left. He's already downstairs with a large group of reporters. Eldest miss, should we let her up? Reporter? A cold light flashed in Yu Jingyu's eyes as she chuckled. You have some brains, but it's a pity that you didn't use them on the right path. Yu Yushir was embarrassed. Sister, do you think I'm the most brainless because everyone has a brain? Yu Jingyu looked at her with disdain and said coldly and mercilessly, it's the truth. Yu Yushir was furious. It's fine if you said my boss is smart, but now you're saying that Wen Jingping is smarter than me. Before Yu Yushir could finish, Yun Luoshan asked from the side. Why did she bring the reporters here? Looking for trouble? See, this little girl has more brains than you. Looking for trouble? She's still looking for trouble at this time. Is there something wrong with her brain? Chapter 211. Sister. Yu Yushir was furious. She was not that bad. Yu Jingyu did not explain further to her. Let her in. 5 minutes later, Wen Jingping followed behind the black-clothed bodyguard from before. Behind her was a group of reporters with long cameras and short cannons. Some of them were even live streaming. Wen Jingping's heart skipped a beat when she saw the bodyguards downstairs. Now that she saw an unfamiliar woman in the ward, she had a premonition that something was out of her control. Unfortunately, she had no choice but to post it online. She could only ask tentatively, This is, Yu Jingyu's eyes flickered, and she said directly, I'm Yushir's sister. You are? I am. Before Wen Jingping could finish, Yu Yushir interrupted her impatiently. What are you here for? Wen Jingping's face turned pale, and she immediately looked hurt. However, she was a little happy about Yu Yushir's straightforwardness. Facing so many reporters and cameras, she actually acted as usual. It saved her a lot of trouble. Yu Yushir was annoyed to see her like this. Every time she spoke a little more seriously, it was as if others were bullying her, and she had suffered a great grievance. Did she really think that she was a little princess? Everyone in the world had to treat her like she was fragile and accommodate her. What was wrong with her? I'm here to apologize to you on behalf of Mingyu. Yu Yushi raised her eyebrows. If you're here to apologize to me on behalf of Si Mingyu, why didn't she come herself? She's too embarrassed to come. Wen Jingping thought that Yu Yushi would definitely mock her for saying that, but she didn't expect Yu Yushi to only reply coldly, "Oh." Wen Jingping was stunned and almost fell into an awkward silence. After a moment of silence, she quickly continued, "Mingyu actually regrets it. She didn't expect things to turn out like this, and even let you be hospitalized. Actually, someone from the production team has already talked to her. She also realized her mistake. She was just afraid that if she came and saw you like this, she would feel even worse, so she didn't come." Yu Yushi listened to her emotional performance and said nothing. Wen Jingping had no choice but to continue her monologue. In the end, she was too impulsive. It wasn't a big deal to begin with. Now that things have turned out this way, it's not what everyone wanted. Yushi, can you be magnanimous and forgive her this time? Don't let the production team pursue her responsibility. I apologize to you on her behalf and thank you on her behalf. She did not mention herself at all, and pushed all the blame onto Si Mingyu. She even portrayed herself as someone who was willing to lower herself to beg for forgiveness for her friend. Yu Yushi sneered and suddenly asked, "There were so many people present. How did you know that she was the one who caused me to fall off the stage?" Wen Jingping was stunned. The words she had prepared were stuck in her throat for a second. At that time, everyone saw it. You saw everything? Then did you see her push me with your own eyes? Yu Yushi emphasized the words with your own eyes and with her own hands. Wen Jingping's heart skipped a beat again. She said stiffly, "I didn't see it. But at that time, everyone was busy trying to separate the two of you. Only Mingyu kept struggling to get to you." After leaving behind a few suggestive words, he hurriedly pleaded for leniency. She was probably angry at that time, that's why. Yu Yushi looked at her with a faint smile and did not say anything. Chapter 212. Although Yu Yushi was staying in a private ward, it was the most luxurious kind. Not only did it have a private bathroom, but it also had a small screen that blocked her from changing clothes in the room. Wen Jingping's attention was all on Yu Yushi and her sister when she first entered the room. How could she have checked if there was someone hiding behind the small screen? The result was obvious. Not only was there someone hiding inside, but there was also someone she was extremely familiar with. Wen Jingping was dumbfounded when she saw the person who shouldn't be here. "Mingyu, why are you here? Why am I here? If I wasn't here, how would I know what you're like behind my back?" Si Mingyu looked at the person in front of her with bloodshot eyes. She hated her blindness as much as she liked this friend before. About an hour ago, Si Mingyu suddenly received a call from her manager, saying that someone was looking for her to go to the hospital. Si Mingyu knew that Yu Yushi was probably going to settle scores with her. Although she was nervous, she knew that she had to bear the consequences of her mistake. She gritted her teeth and decided to come here alone. Unexpectedly, Yu Yushi and the others were not in a hurry to convict her. Instead, they asked her, "Did you really push me off the stage last night?" Si Mingyu's first reaction was to think, "Are they trying to humiliate me on purpose?" If she said that she was pushed by someone, but she couldn't say who pushed her, would they think that it was an excuse for her to not take responsibility for her crime? Si Mingyu's heart was in a mess. At first, she didn't say anything and only lowered her head to beg for forgiveness. In the end, she was really annoyed by the questions. So she turned her face away and said in a hoarse voice that she seemed to have been hit from behind before rushing out. They were all prepared to be ridiculed, but they didn't expect that they would look at each other and continue to ask, "Then do you know who pushed you?" Si Mingyu was a little annoyed. If she knew, would she be so regretful and aggrieved now? "I don't know." "That's good. We know who pushed you." Si Mingyu's eyes widened when she heard this. She said in disbelief, "Do you know who pushed me? Did she do it on purpose? Why did she do that? Who is she? You might not believe us even if we tell you who she is. See for yourself." Thus, Si Mingyu saw the surveillance video of the accident last night, and the person she couldn't believe. How could it be her? How could it be her? Are you mistaken? Simingyu's face was pale. She couldn't believe that the person she was protecting was a poisonous beauty. This is the video that we spent a lot of effort to get from the production team. These 2 clips have not been edited at all. If you don't believe me, you can compare it with the others. Simingyu's eyes reddened. Why did she do that? Why? Chapter 213. Simingyu kept shaking her head. She did not want to believe that the person she had always trusted and protected was so unbearable. And she did not want to believe that she had been blind. Yu Yushir and the others did not force her, and gave her time to recover. Coincidentally, when Jingping came looking for them, the few of them knew what she was here for, so they asked Simingyu to hide first. They wanted to see for themselves what this person was like in a place where she couldn't see. When Jingping was stunned for a few seconds before she quickly came back to her senses. She was embarrassed that she had been exposed and forced to beg for forgiveness on behalf of her friend, but her kind intentions were not rewarded. Mingyu, I didn't know you were here. I thought. What did you think? Did you think I was still in the dormitory and didn't know anything, allowing you to push everything onto me and step on me to climb up the ranks? If it was just based on those 2 videos, Simingyu might not have believed it, and might not have been so disappointed in Wen Jingping. The main reason was that she had asked Wen Jingping a question last night. When Yu Yushir fell, the scene was chaotic. Everyone's attention was on her. And so was Simingyu. She was stunned for a long time before she woke up from the screams of the people around her. At that time, the people on the stage were either running or dispersing. It was impossible to tell who had pushed her. Simingyu watched in a daze as the staff sent Yu Yushir to the ambulance. The contestants were also sent back to the dormitory. The first thing she did when she returned to the dormitory was to ask Wen Jingping if she had seen who was standing behind her when the incident happened. How did Wen Jingping answer? She said. At that time the scene was chaotic and there were many people. I was so focused on pulling you that I didn't notice who was standing behind you. After that, she even asked herself innocently why she was asking this question. Did something happen? She was clearly the one who was standing behind her at that time. She was clearly the one who had caused all of this, but she still pretended as if nothing had happened. She pushed all the blame onto her, and cast herself clean of all responsibility. Wen Jingping's eyes flashed with panic, but she quickly calmed down. Mingyu, what nonsense are you talking about? I'm here today to apologize to Miss Yu and the others on your behalf. After all, you were the one who attacked first. Miss Yu is still lying in the hospital. Yes, I made the first move. But why don't you tell me why I made the first move? Why don't you say that Yu Yushir fell because someone pushed me from behind? Wen Jingping's heart skipped a beat. I know you did it for me. I'm very grateful for your protection. But Mingyu, no matter what, it's not right to make a move, especially when someone is injured. Simingyu looked at Wen Jingping's appearance. The amount of pity she had for her before was the same amount of disgust she felt for her now. Now you know how to say nice things. What did you say to me before? Yu Yushir is obviously a little princess raised by a rich family. She looks down on a country bumpkin like you who came from a poor family. Ever since she joined the production team, she has been causing trouble for you. She even isolated and bullied you with the others. Chapter 214. With every word Simingyu said, Wen Jingping's face turned paler. Yu Yushir could not take it anymore. What the hell are you talking about? When did I cause trouble for her? I even colluded with others to isolate her, and colluded with the production team to slander her? The talent show they were participating in had auditions, preliminaries 100 to 60, 60 to 20. The competition system was simple but cruel. Due to the large number of people and limited time, they basically adopted a team versus team competition mode. In the beginning, the production team assigned teams and later, they were free to form teams. To a certain extent, the quality of their teammates was related to their own results. Wen Jingping was not outstanding, and her ability was not good either. To put it bluntly, she was a hindrance. When it came to grouping later, she was often the last batch. Very few people were willing to be in the same group as her, afraid that they would be implicated by her. In the end, she was still blamed for the trouble caused by her own ability. At that thought, Yu Yushir glanced at Wen Jingping in disdain. She's not worthy. It was just 3 short words, but it made Wen Jingping's body tremble. She suddenly returned to the dark period in her previous life when anyone could step on her at will. Why? Why was she still looked down on by these people even though she had been reborn? What right did they have to look down on her? Sometimes people were like this. When they trusted someone, they could ignore some things. When they no longer trusted someone, these things would return to their minds one after another. It made people regret being so stupid that they could not see such an obvious thing. Yu was more or less in this situation now. I was stupid. I believed whatever you said and never checked if the truth was different from what you said. Now that I think about it, Miss Yu didn't have much contact with you. She's prettier and more capable than you. Why would she cause trouble for you, spend so much effort to slander you, and make others isolate you? When Wen Jingping heard Yu say, "She's prettier and more capable than you," she was so angry that her face turned black. Just as she was about to say something, she heard Yu say, "Since all the media friends are here today, let's sort this matter out carefully so that there won't be any more trouble in the future, and make me a scapegoat for no reason." Wen Jingping was shocked. The ominous feeling in her heart suddenly magnified. Mingyu. Mingyu ignored her shock and said coldly, "The cause of the incident was at the recording of the show last night. During the public performance competition for the top 60 to top 20, when the final rankings and candidates were decided, Miss Yu suddenly ran out to question the results. She asked the production team to release the detailed voting results, and publicly accused Wen Jingping of using her special privileges to take over the contestants who should have been shortlisted. Mingyu's words caused an uproar. Although the reporters who came with Wen Jingping were hired by Hua Xiaofeng, the reporter's job was to chase after anything that broke the news. The situation in front of them was much more explosive than the small news of Little White Lotus apologizing to the victim on behalf of her friend. Her sincerity moved the victim to let bygones be bygones. The internal strife of the talent show. 3 women in a show. Who would be the final winner? Chapter 215. Wen Jingping's face turned pale. She never expected that the trap she had set up with great difficulty would backfire on her. Mingyu. Mingyu met Wen Jingping's angry and venomous gaze. She found it funny and sad at the same time. The little bit of luck in her heart finally dissipated at this moment. Wen Jingping and I usually have a good relationship. Besides, as I said just now, she brainwashed me a few times in advance. When I saw Miss Yu go on stage and say those words, my head heated up. The first thing I thought was that she wanted to bully Wen Jingping, so I went up and quarreled with her. Later, because of this quarrel, it led to physical contact. Just as Mingyu said this, a reporter couldn't help but ask, "Since you have a good relationship with Miss Wen, why are you attacking her now?" Mingyu could tell that the reporter was stirring up trouble, but she wasn't afraid. She simply said, "When you find out that the person you've been treating sincerely has been using you and even wants to destroy you after using you, what will you do?" I wasn't attacking her. I was just fighting back. The reporter's eyes lit up. Just as he was about to ask again, Mingyu continued, "When they saw us pushing and shoving, the others were afraid that something would happen, so they came forward to pull us away. As they were pulling, someone pushed me from behind, causing me to bump into Miss Yu, causing her to be hospitalized. And I almost fell off the stage and accompanied Miss Yu to the hospital." The reporters who followed her reacted very quickly. Soon someone asked the main point. "Was that person Miss Wen?" Just as Mingyu was about to speak, she heard a sharp shout, "Mingyu!" Everyone's attention instantly shifted to Wen Jingping. Her eyes were red, and her face was filled with hurt and disbelief. She said, "How could you do this? Just to avoid responsibility. You made up such a lie and pushed all the blame onto me. We're best friends, you know. How could you do this? I really misjudged you." This complaint was so sad and mournful that a few reporters who were protective of the fairer sex even showed some sympathy for her. Seeming Yu frowned slightly. Before she could refute, Yu Jingyu was one step ahead of her. Someone will investigate whether she lied or not. This is a vicious case of intentional injury. Before you came, we already called the police. If you have anything to say next, you can say it to the police yourself. At this point, Yu Jingyu looked deeply at Wen Jingping and sneered. By the way, Miss Wen, please be mentally prepared. We have evidence on our hands. If you don't want people to know, don't do it in the first place. When she heard that, she couldn't control of herself. This once again. A hint of coldness flashed across Yu Jingyu's eyes. Her words were actually meant to test Wen Jingping. After all, Wen Jingping's mental fortitude was still a problem. She still dared to play tricks on her biological sister. She was really tired of living. Yu Jingyu's words were no different from convicting Wen Jingping. The reporters were like great white sharks that smelled blood. They scrambled to squeeze into the ward, and were thrown out by the bodyguards not long after. Seeming Yu turned around and bowed deeply to Yu Yushi. She glanced coldly at Wen Jingping and left. Chapter 216. After Su Yiyan left the hospital, she had been paying attention to the aftermath of this incident. Yu Jingyu did not disappoint her. Very soon, she saw the live broadcast of this incident on the internet. Yes, live broadcast. Wen Jingping felt uneasy when she saw so many bodyguards in black. She simply asked a few reporters to broadcast everything that happened in the ward on the spot, just in case. In the end, the development of the situation was completely beyond her expectations. The script that she had originally planned had completely backfired on her. The Public Relations Department of Dongqing City had been waiting for this moment for a long time. As soon as the live broadcast came out, they issued an announcement, declaring that they would pursue this matter to the end. In addition, the reporters who were broadcasting the live broadcast happened to capture the police officers in the hospital preparing to arrest them before the live broadcast ended. Of course, the drama of the Plastic Sisters fighting on the spot was sent to the hot topic. Before this, Wen Jingping had been ridiculed because of the incident. If she had been tactful and kept quiet for a period of time, waiting for the onlookers to forget about this incident, she might have been able to make a comeback. But she was too impatient. Because of this, wouldn't her old grudges be digging her own grave? Su Yiyan looked at the almost one-sided comments on the internet and smiled slightly. She packaged all these happy video messages and sent them to Hua Chenhuan. When Hua Chenhuan received these messages, she was busy with a video conference. When she heard the familiar notification tone, she directly interrupted the report of the employee on the other end. In front of a group of company executives, she took out her phone and started chatting. Yin loves you the most in the world. Am I awesome? Picture 1. Picture 2. Across the screen, Hua Chenhuan could imagine Su Yiyan's slightly raised chin and gleaming eyes because of pride. She looked very much like a proud cat wagging its tail after being praised. Hua, awesome, give you a little red flower. JPG, it was this old cadre's emoji again. Su Yiyan was amused and sent another message. Yin loves you the most in the world. I've been busy recently. Originally, I was too lazy to find trouble with her, but she insisted on jumping in front of me. Don't you think she deserves a beating from society? Hua Chenhuan said in her heart. No, she owes you a beating. Hua, yeah, you're so busy, but she still came to make you worry. She deserves a beating. Pfft. Su Yiyan couldn't help but laugh when she saw this reply. This guy could really hit the nail on the head every time and make her happy. Yin who loves you most in the world. Why do I love you so much? Face rubbing. JPG Big Boss Hua, who had learned a lot of bootlicking, naturally knew what he meant. A slight blush quickly appeared on her face, and it happened so quickly that the few senior executives who were still hanging on the internet almost thought that they were seeing things. However, there were still 1 or 2 people who were particularly fast. They captured the scene and sent it to the company's small group chat. Shocking. Big Boss could blush too. Ah, is he in love? A single stone raised 1,000 ripples. For a moment, those who were slacking and those who weren't all gathered in a small group and started to discuss this once-in-a-100-year spectacle, until someone in the know ran out and revealed. How is he in love? He's about to get married. I heard that Big Boss has had a crush on the goddess for a long time. How can he not be happy when he finally gets the beauty? As soon as this was said, it immediately attracted the attention of everyone. After a round of explanation, everyone suddenly understood. Chapter 217. At this moment, Hua Chenhuan still didn't know that this group of company elites was having a small meeting downstairs while he was talking to Su Yiyan. After showing off her victory, Su Yiyan brought the topic back to his body. Yin loves you most in the world. I've already prepared the ingredients for the medicinal bath. I'll send them to you in 2 days. Also, my mom said that we're getting married soon, so it's not appropriate for us to meet before the wedding. The medicinal bath needs to be used together with massage and acupuncture. The acupuncture can be done later. As for the massage, why don't you ask one of Xiaoyang and the others to learn from me? The massage was her reward for leveling up to level 4 after the last live broadcast. When she saw the reward, the first thing that came to her mind was that the massage should be used together with the medicinal bath to promote the absorption of the medicine. It was very suitable for Hua Chenhuan now. When Hua Chenhuan saw this long paragraph, he suddenly thought of something and narrowed his eyes. Hua, is the massage what I think it means? Yin loves you most in the world. It means a massage. Hua. On your body? Yin loves you most in the world. Yes, Hua. Don't give it to others. Su Yiyan was stunned. She thought about how this person's jealousy was overturned by acupuncture. If she gave it to others, he would be so angry that he would vomit blood. Yin loves you most in the world. Okay, I'll only give it to you. Hua Chenhuan was slightly stunned, and his face heated up again. Hua, you don't have to teach Xiaoyang and the others. We're getting married soon. I can wait. Anyway, he had been paralyzed for so long, so he didn't mind being paralyzed for a few more days. It was just a few days. He could still afford to wait. Su Yiyan frowned. Only then did she remember that Hua Chenhuan didn't seem to like others touching his body after the car accident. Even Gu Xiaoyang and the others were no exception. Yin loves you most in the world. Okay then, we'll do it after we get married. Anyway, we have plenty of time in the future. Hua Chenhuan looked at the last sentence. His eyes moved slightly, and a faint smile appeared on his face. With Yu Jingyu's presence, coupled with the drama of the teammates turning against each other in the ward, Wen Jingping's matter naturally couldn't be resolved unscathed like in the original novel. After that, Sima Yu took the initiative to submit an application to withdraw from the competition. She also sorted out everything that had been said in the ward and posted it on her public account. This straightforward girl was very clear about the consequences of her actions, but she still did it without hesitation. It was clear that she had the intention to fight to the death. However, she was still too naive. Although Wen Jingping had made a mistake and lost herself, Hua Xiaofeng was not someone to be trifled with. The matter had just started. Although he was angry, he still reacted quickly. He directly bought a group of fake reviewers and said that Sima Yu had been bribed by Yu Jingyu and Yu Yusher's management company. He deliberately poured dirty water on Wen Jingping to seek to get away with it. The reason why the Yu sisters were making things difficult for Wen Jingping was entirely out of jealousy. In addition, the video taken from that clip was indeed not enough to convict Wen Jingping, so Wen Jingping simply insisted that she had been framed by a group of people. Some bystanders were successfully brainwashed and felt that Wen Jingping had been framed. However, most people, especially those who had witnessed Wen Jingping's face being slapped in the face, quickly found out that this excuse was untenable. Chapter 218. Or are they jealous that you found such an outstanding boyfriend? Needless to say, Su Yiyan had really thought about that when he saw those whitewashing methods. After all, Hua Xiaofeng was a person with a strange brain circuit. To put it bluntly, he was too narcissistic and did not know himself well. In his heart, He must also feel that when Jinping being able to find such a rich and handsome boyfriend like him was a point that would make other girls jealous and hate her. Hua Xiaofeng bought fake reviewers, so Yu Jingyu naturally did not want to be outdone. She bought a group of fake reviewers to fight with him. Perhaps it was because of the protagonist's halo. But Yu Jingyu, who was supposed to be much more capable than Hua Xiaofeng, could only fight to a draw with him in the end. When the gods fought, the little devils suffered. The ones who were really suffering were the production team. Ever since when Jinping joined their show, she had caused a lot of trouble. The production team's higher-ups had long been angry with her and wanted to kick her out. However, the young master of family who stood behind her, and they could not afford to offend him. This time, Yu Yushir was an artiste of Dongqing City, and Dongqing City was one of the sponsors of their show. Furthermore, she was the second daughter of the Yu family, so they could not afford to offend her. Should they kick Wen Jingping out? If they kicked her out now, would family Hu make things difficult for them? The higher-ups were really worried. Su Yiyan's instructions reached the production team's director's ears at this time. What our boss means is that everyone is trying to make a living, and no one has it easy. Although this incident was bad and we suffered a loss, in the end it was because some people were not good enough. It has nothing to do with the production team, so we will not really pursue the responsibility of the production team. Moreover, Dongqing City also invested in this show, so we naturally don't want to see our efforts go to waste. Wen Jingping is very popular now, so we can keep her. After all, if everyone in a show is good, I'm afraid there won't be any conflicts. How can there be popularity without conflicts? Don't you think so? The director was not a fool. How could he not understand Dong Cheng's attitude towards Wen Jingping? In this world, there were always some people who were very good at the art of speaking. Once they opened their mouth, they would make people happy. Even if they knew that the other party had ulterior motives, they would still be willing to help. As for some people, the moment they opened their mouths, people would feel disgusted. Perhaps they would choose to submit, because they were afraid of the other party's power. No matter how well they acted on the surface, it was inevitable that they would obey in public but oppose in private. I understand. Thank you for your understanding, President Su. The same thing will never happen again. Wen Jingping will stay, but we will stop her from doing anything else. Don't worry, President Su. Then I'll leave the rest of the children in your care. You're welcome. Just like that, when Jingping was asked to stay, she thought that Hua Xiaofeng's attempt to clear her name had worked, or that Hua Xiaofeng had pressured the production team so that they did not dare to chase her out. But no matter what, it was good that she could stay. Staying meant that she still had a chance. However, she soon realized that she was too naive. Although the police did not have enough evidence and could not convict her, the contestants in the production team who interacted with each other day and night were not like those who did not know anything. They all saw how well Sima Yu usually treated Wen Jingping, and how much she took care of her. Moreover, Sima Yu had a straightforward personality, so the other contestants were actually very happy to interact with her. You're tuning into the Echoes of the Heart YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.